Welcome back, Kindred Spirits. Linda Smith Davis here with New England Fine Living. Today I thought I would take the opportunity while I have my rhubarb custard pie here in the oven, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to finally get the materials list of our kitchen renovation. A lot of you have asked about the flooring, the backsplash that looks like beadboard, color we used here in the kitchen. So I figured, why not do that right now while the pie's baking and I'm sitting here waiting. It's kind of like waiting for paint to dry. I could be doing laundry. I don't want to. I could be painting. I don't want to. So I'm gonna do this. This is gonna be more fun. Keep my glasses close by in case I need them. Let's start with what we've done here. There is another video here on my YouTube channel that talks about the kitchen renovation. But just to catch up to speed, this was 3 small rooms in our antique farmhouse here. Our home was a single family, converted to a 2-family. When we purchased it, going on 2.5 years ago, I think, it was a 2-family. And we've converted it now back to a single family officially just a few months ago. So I'm very excited. This was 3 small rooms that I'm standing in. There was the kitchen here. And then in the far corner, there was a small sitting room where we had breakfast or dinner sometimes. And then there was a pantry over where our stove is. We had an engineer come in first, and he drew up a plan for our beam here that went down the center so we could take down a wall. And there was also a chimney here that we took down. We had to take the chimney down also to increase the bedroom size upstairs. And that's on a past video as well. So when I went out searching for flooring, I love wide floors. This house, the floors were all changed out pretty much. There's some fir floors, but nothing that was original to the home other than in the attic where we do have some 15-inch, very wide floors. I adore those. So I first went out looking at wide reclaimed floors, and it was just too cost prohibitive for what I wanted to put into this home. We have a lot we want to do here, so I wanted to do the project smart, economical, as much as possible at least, and try to do something that has the look but also balances the budget. I like to do a lot of high-low decorating and remodeling. So I did find these engineered floors that are, I believe this is 7-inch wide. Now, I know engineered floors scares me off sometimes, but this particular floor has enough width in this that if I ever needed to sand it, I could get 1, possibly 2 sandings out of it. But this wears so well. It's from a company called Greyne, Greyne. It's out of South Carolina, and they custom make it per project. So what I liked about this company, not only because of the width, the fact that the color, you can do whatever finish you want. You can get it in flat, satin, high gloss. I ended up ordering mine in satin because I like the patina of old floors and old wood. So I thought this kind of gave me the look. Now this is the satin. The flat is not much different, but when I did some testing of, it was kind of funny. I did put the sample on the floor and I was putting flour and I had willow walk on it with wet feet. The satin really did well, hiding a lot of things that was going on. So one thing when you are looking for engineered floors is make sure there's a lot of thickness here, because if it's thin, even if it's a cheaper price, you might have to replace your floors sooner than you want. These floors are going to last us a long time. They've worn really well. Oh, the color. Let's see if I have that here. Oh, I broke a nail. Filming's over. I broke a nail. I gotta go now. This is ridiculous. All right, so I wanted to tell you what color I got. The collection is from the Reserve collection, and we got the color of Sporting Club. They had quite a few others, but I was trying to go for the old world country look, and this nailed it for me. So now I did find this at a local vendor, but a lot of other stores did not have it, so you might have to call around if this is a brand that you'd like to look for or get a sample of. I'm just going to put these off to the side. How about cabinetry? I went with a shaper style in our kitchen here, and this happens to be by Kraftmaid, and they did have 2 different size rails, larger and thinner. I went with the thinner rail. I wanted it to be a little more slimlined, and I felt it was a little heavier and chunkier looking when I saw the larger one when I brought the sample home. The color I chose was Dove White, and it does take on a very, very soft, barely there gray. You might even catch it a little bit in the background here when the lighting hits it. So it's not too bright and too stark. So it has a really nice tone to it. Been very pleased with these cabinets. They are solid maple, and I ended up doing drawers that are the soft close. So I've been very pleased. You can get Kraftmaid at a lot of vendors. I know you can get it at Lowe's and Home Depot. So this was our cabinetry. And our countertops. This is probably the most asked question between our tile backsplash and the counter. I went with a honed black granite in a leathered finish. And this is the sample that I was given. And what I liked about it, it has some white flecks, and it reminded me very much of soapstone. Now, the one that I got doesn't have as many white flecks, and I did go see the sample at the lot, but they didn't have one that matched this. So that's one thing. If you haven't done a lot of searching around for granite and quartz, it's not always what the sample looks like. You really should go look at the piece and hand select it if possible, and then they'll put it aside for you. So this doesn't have as much of the white peppered through as I liked for the soapstone. And they also put a 15-year finish on this. Once again, I love that there's a finish, but it's a little shinier than I was hoping. But I'm so pleased with the countertops. They've been doing really well, easy to clean, but I do wish that it wasn't as shiny, but that's okay. We'll deal with it. Windows. We went with a line called Harvey. It's a New England brand. They are out of New Hampshire, and they pretty much deliver along the East Coast, and I believe that they're starting to go a little bit more west, but you'd have to check if you want to look into them. I'll get to the backsplash in a minute, but I wanted to also share about our mini split for our air conditioning and heating here in the kitchen. Ours happens to be Mitsubishi, and we are so pleased with it. It's very quiet. It has kept our kitchen nice and warm during the winter, and we did use it last year in some of the later part of October. That was really hot, and the air conditioning worked fantastic. The faucet that I have here in our sink is from Kohler, and I didn't want to follow trends. I was trying to do my own thing here, so I did find this one online and been very pleased with it. It has the pull-out hose, it has the spray, and it cleans very easily, and it's the oiled bronze look, so I'm really pleased with it. The sink is a black composite sink. We also got that at Home Depot, and I purchased that because I wanted it to almost look like it was a seamless blend of our countertops going into the sink. I wanted it to look like a soapstone sink, for lack of better words. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. So it really, I think it's doing a wonderful job of giving that illusion of one piece soapstone sink like I had in my childhood home. Some of you may already have it in your homes or have seen them. And the product I've been very pleased with. It doesn't scratch, it doesn't stain. Like I said, I went with the black. So I'm constantly cleaning it, not because it looks dirty, because it's black and I don't know if it is dirty. It's Frank or Frank's. And once again, I will note that below. I believe it's just Frank, singular. So that you can get single bowl or double bowl, and I did the single bowl sink. Once again, very pleased with that. Now for the tile backsplash that looks like beadboard. That is something that I woke up in the middle of the night and I said, wouldn't it be fantastic if I could create a beadboard that was fire resistant? I knew I couldn't put beadboard behind the stove like I wanted. So I started Googling how I'd go about it. Coming to find out, it was already out there. So kudos to the person who invented that. This entrepreneur thought she was going to have a brand new light bulb idea. Not so, but they saved me a lot of time, work, and effort. So the tile backsplash it looks like beadboard, I did a little test. I wanted to make sure that it would stand up to cooking. So I found this 36 by 8 inch beadboard tile that I would love to use behind my new gas range that's coming for the kitchen remodel. But it has more of a matte finish. Even it is definitely finished off, but I just want to make sure that with anything that splatters on it, it's going to not stain. So I selected 3 items off my shelf in my refrigerator that I feel I would most likely spatter against the back. So I have butter, I have olive oil, and the dreaded spaghetti sauce. So what I'm gonna do is just, let me see, I'll start with the butter. I'm just gonna add a little bit, and I do realize that on some of these, they'll sink in, but then it will fade after a while. But I just wanna make sure that when it's up on the wall, here goes the olive oil, I'm not going to have, oh, I'll just leave that drip. I'm not gonna have stains, because you can't replace this easily once it's up, now can ya? Let's see, let's do some of the tomato sauce or spaghetti sauce. So I'm gonna let these sit a while because let's be real, sometimes when splashes happen or spatter, it doesn't get cleaned up right away until after we're done cooking and cleaning the kitchen. So I'm gonna leave those for a bit. Well, I was going to take a video to show wiping off the stains, and I came back to find that my dog not only licked off the stuff on the board, she also cleaned out the bowls. So needless to say, I think we're kind of good, but I'm going to dry it off and take a look at it. Thanks, Willow. You're a treasure. I was pleased to see that there were no stains or any residue left over, so I did end up ordering it. I forget how many pieces I had to go with, but luckily I had the sample because they can break easily, if it's mismeasured, so always buy a little extra. Never buy just what you need. You always need extra. If you don't, it will break. If you buy extra, you usually will have extra. So what I just wanted to show you, if you're doing a larger project and if you're going to be overseeing yourself, especially if you don't have a project manager, which is what I did here. I brought in the contractors, I brought in all the vendors, I was running the show here. So I had to have this 3-ring binder, not only to keep myself on track and focused, but it was also a book that any of the contractors knew would be here, set up in the kitchen somewhere. And I also had some paperwork taped on the wall for them to check for schedules. But this book, they could flip inside and look at specs that they would need if I wasn't available. So, and like in the inside here, it was the kitchen layout with all the measurements of where things were going to lay. So this is where the electrician would look to put in some of his outlets. This is where our contractor would look. And I had some of the elevations of the kitchen that was coming in. Once again, people could just get an idea of what we were doing. And then I have in here also the specs for the appliances. So let's take the refrigerator, for instance. The electrician came in, he didn't know how high to put the plug in the back wall, so he referenced it here. He checked to see what the amperage needed to be. So in here I have the refrigerator, I have the microwave, I have the dishwasher, oven, and our stove. So that was helpful. They didn't have to come and ask me for info. And then in the back also, I even have the lighting schedule. I just printed out what my floor plan was, figured out where I wanted my lights, and then when the electrician showed up, I just handed him this book. We did chat, and then he went on his merry way and put the lights in. These are LED lights. I have been so pleased with them. I was introduced to them upstairs in our bedroom, and I've been very pleased. And let's see what else do people ask me. Oh, kitchen color. Currently, it is Simply White trim, Simply White on the Walls by Benjamin Moore. And at one point, I do feel I want to put some wallpaper in here, but I've been enjoying just some nice, crisp, light color. Behind me here in the cabinetry, I went with a seated glass. I really like seated glass, so I figured having one cabinet with the seated glass here would show off my collections. One thing is, somebody pointed this out from a previous video or Instagram, I forget which it was. Your shelves don't always line up when you have glass cabinets. I did different knobs throughout, so these look like they're little turn knobs. I've got the handles, I have cup handles, So everything's different in here. I wanted it to look like somebody went and had to collect items to put together their kitchen. So I didn't want it to look like it came right from a showroom floor. I got some of them from online. I got some from Home Depot. I got some from Lowe's. And I actually forget the company's name that I got the refrigerator handle from, but I'm going to look that up for you. I couldn't put my hands on it right away because I just grabbed all these samples real quick from my office while the pie's baking, but I will find that for you. On the sides here, I have some curved corbels. I drew this out on a piece of cardboard and he made this for me. So once again, this was just a stock cabinet, the seated glass doors, and this curved little corbel here made it look a little different. I also have some LED lighting under the cabinets that my electrician put in. And we have some switches in here from Lutron. Pie's done. I'm going to talk quickly here and then I'll take that pie out. Actually, let's hold. Let me check the pie. I'm going to give it a little longer. Where was I? Oh, I was talking about the lighting. So, and not just in old homes, but if you have a situation where an electrician tells you that he can't wire to a certain area, they have products now that are remote control and they look just like a light switch. Ours are from Lutron, and example, I have a switch here that would work this chandelier, and instead of wiring all the way across to the other side of the kitchen, it's a remote control switch that just goes in the switch plate and it looks like a regular switch. And at one point I might have to replace a battery, but it really has worked out well. What's convenient about this brand is that I have an app on my phone that I can, if I'm out and about, I can look up the app and I can turn the lights on or off when I'm not home, or if I'm just arriving and it's dark inside the house, I can turn my lights on. It's so convenient. And we also use it for our outside lights too. I'm trying to think if there's anything else here in the kitchen that I'm missing. The appliances. So I went with GE. For this whole kitchen remodel, I was thinking budget. So I was also looking for sale. The cabinets were at sale and appliances were on a buy one, get one. So we bought a refrigerator, we got an oven, we bought a stove, we got a dishwasher. It really worked out well. So once again, it's all GE. The stove, the dishwasher, the refrigerator are the Monogram line. And I did go with the cafe for our French door oven here. It did save a couple $100, and the only difference I saw was a little logo on the handle. And the poor salesperson, I didn't want to get some of the brand because of a little logo on the handle. I went with this one. And I didn't know if I wanted the blue interior of the Monogram oven. I thought it would really annoy me. I don't even see it anymore. It was something I was so focused on at the showroom. I wanted a black interior or a gray interior like my mother had or like I always had. I don't even see the blue anymore, and actually I like the blue. So shame on me for being such a diva at the appliance store. I don't want that logo. I don't want this and that. But, Diva Linda comes out sometimes. I want what I want. And sometimes I don't get it. And then I realize she was wrong. So, all right, guys. Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I don't know if it's here or there on your screen. I think it's over there. I hope you enjoyed this video if you're remodeling your home. And 5 minutes went fast. So thanks again for visiting.